Hey Virgos, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at your first half of July, general reading here. So in the meditation, it was short, but very vivid. Take that descriptive and apply it where you may. I saw the image. I was in the desert, immediately in the desert. Saw a cactus and, a bunch of sand, as it was a desert. Very, very, very hot climate. And then I saw this lizard come forward, but the thing is, I don't know what kind it was, but it had sort of like a neck, like a crown or a collar that was kind of like sticking up. Please let me know in the comments if you know which kind of lizard I'm referring to. But it was kind of sticking up, and then it kind of moved forward, and then it stood very, very still in the desert. And I waited and I waited and I just watched it, and then suddenly, with like no notice or seemingly any cause, it jumped forward right towards me, and then that was the meditation. So going off of that, lizard energy in and of itself is very much about energy conservation and very much about timing. It also links up to sort of a Knight of Cups energy, which is very much about engaging with people, places, and things that serve your emotional core, which is perfect for the season that we're in. At least in the Northern Hemisphere, this is the time of Litha, which is very much about, summer solstice, about sitting with your feelings and really appreciating how your feelings are there to inform and empower you, not suffocate or inconvenience you, as sometimes it can feel that way, right? It's just about our relationships to our feelings, right? And that very much can affect us in any number of ways, depending on our relationship to, our feelings and how we go through this world in terms of our, emotional core. But it's interesting with the lizard and the heat. They're cold-blooded creatures, right? And the reason that lizards and salamanders within the world of the tarot are associated with the element of fire is because they are creatures that seek out the heat, that seek out the warmth. So that's really interesting. Let's go ahead and see what your cards have to say. Hey Virgos, let's go ahead and see what your animal energy is for the first half of July. There we go. Oh, this is so good. Virgo, tell me that is not a really big lizard. Crocodile. This is perfect because crocodile is all about timing. We were just talking about that with the lizard energy. This is really, really beautiful. So first of all, I'd like to point out that the crocodile is a water animal. We are in the watery season, the time of Litha. We were just talking about the emotions. So I love that this is coming forward for you in this way. Crocodile, yes, it is very much about timing. It's when to move, when to be still. But it's also very much about mental health, right? Crocodile comes forward and says, how is your mental health? How are you catering to your own needs and seeing to your own emotional landscapes? Right? So that question is coming up. And I will say this, because of the time of the year that we're in, especially in the it's actually the same, because in the Northern Hemisphere, we're in the time of Litha, right? The time of emotional introspection. But in the Southern Hemisphere, they're at the time of Yule, aka Christmas time, which is a time of reflection, the ending of one year before making New Year's resolutions for the next. So this all around, no matter where you are, is a time of reflection. So the fact that that's going on anyway, you can choose to work with this energy as it is to get the most out of it, which is really, really brilliant. So again, turning to those watery depths and really allowing yourself to see whatever is there without judgment and with curiosity. Less judgment, more curiosity, right? The crocodile also, within the crocodile's eye, you see that eye? It's dragon energy eye, right? Which is all about seeing oneself and others very clearly. Dragon energy relates pretty closely to justice energy in the tarot, which is about, legal matters, Lady Justice being blind, everything being fair and equal and, actually unemotional. It's just what's fair is fair in the, court of law, right? So it's interesting that there's this dispassionate assessment of right and wrong. And I feel like that's coming forward and through for you. I feel like you're being called to look at your circumstances, but really your own inner workings from a place of, it's interesting. And I like that this is coming forward for you because you are Virgos, right? Which it basically means, like, as a Virgo, are you, oh my God, it's just off camera. Guys, did you see this spider literally fall down and it's crawling? Like, it's crawling on the crow here. Literally never happened before. I do have the window open and like it's summer, but like there is a spider on the other side of this, and I've never had another animal come and make itself known in a reading like that before. It literally just like came down from the ceiling, I guess. Wow, that's another level. Let's talk about spider energy briefly, because why not? Spider energy represents writers, which is really beautiful, but it also speaks of creators and the great webs that we weave. It speaks of ancestry. It speaks of family lineage. It speaks of how whatever choices we make, whether they're thoughts or actions or intentions, they reverberate within the cosmic web in all directions of time and space. So the choices that you make, right, the actions that you take will affect you and those around you in really profound ways. And this spider is literally crawling on the belly of this crow right now. Can you see? I don't think you can see it. Oh, wait, he's climbing it. Guys, I never do this, but you've got to see this. Do you see him? Please tell me you can see him. He's like right there. I literally don't know what to do right now. Come here. Can you go over there? I'm trying to do this reading. Can you go over here? I want to like put him out the window where he belongs, but I think I'm freaking him out now. Okay, guys, sorry. I'm not trying to get distracted in your reading, but there's literally like a spider like taking over this reading. And I'm like, oh my God. Hey y'all, sorry about that. I needed to get that spider to safety because I just wouldn't be able to concentrate knowing like, is it, going to be okay. So happily outside again. We're going to acknowledge that visitor to your reading and invite you to, even research more into spider energy, because it's a really beautiful, beautiful visitation for you, just crawling all over the crow like that as well. I think that's a special message for anyone who is a writer or anyone who, has dreamed of being a writer. It's a really beautiful totem coming forward for you directly. So I really like that. Anyway, as we were saying, I feel like this for you is directly inviting you to take a dispassionate assessment of how you're doing emotionally. Okay, it's really inviting you to go there. Now that seems like a funny oxymoron, right? Take a dispassionate assessment of your emotions. But I feel like that's quite right for a Virgo. I feel like that's quite right for you because Virgos are interesting. I'm an Aquarius, right? So I've heard this many times and I found it to be true that Virgos and Aquarians are very, very similar in their energetic core. And some people even make jokes that Virgos are basically more organized Aquarians or more grounded Aquarians. And I feel like there's really something to that, which is why they go together so well. Like the Virgos and Aquarians make great partners and great friends. So I feel like there's something in that for you in terms of being a bit of an air sign about it and observing your emotions in order to, maybe just create a loving platform for which to view them objectively so that you don't have to be afraid or overwhelmed by them or even confused, right? You can take a dispassionate, bird's eye view assessment of how your emotional core is doing and then move from there, right? It feels like kind of like a safety, like I see the image of a swimming pool. There's like the deep end of the pool and then there's the shallow end. And I'm hearing for you, you're really being called like the crocodile, right? Doesn't hangs out in more of the shallow bits of the water, right? I'm hearing that's just right for you. Really sitting with what's coming up, what's within you, but in a way that allows you to maintain your objectivity so that you can, learn from what you are information you're gleaning as opposed to being overwhelmed by it. Okay. All right, let's go. 2 for 1. Oh, wow, y'all. This is, wow. Okay. So we have the Knight of Swords here, which is really, 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 really interesting because we were talking about air energy with the water. And then you have the Knight of Swords as depicted by, I'm not sure what that is. If you know in the comments, let me know. I want to say like a barracuda, but it's not. But I can like see it in my mind, but I can't remember what this is called. Anyway, this fish in the ocean with the sword. With that air energy and being able to, you know, interact with your emotions and what's going on for you from an objective place. So Knight of Swords, traditionally speaking, is about truth. It's about incoming truth and or realizations that are had within you or, you know, channeled through someone else to you that can be a bit blunt in nature, but can be appreciated because it's absolutely true. And I feel like that is spot on for you Virgos because you guys really, really appreciate when something is just spoken plainly and not sugar-coated or like spoken around. It's like, please just get to the point. Tell me the truth. I can handle it. You appreciate, I wouldn't say bluntness, but you appreciate honesty and you appreciate plain speaking, right? When it comes to the important things. And so telling it like you see it is definitely, I feel like part of your makeup. And I feel like that's coming through for you in terms of what your emotional core has to tell you. There's something about that because then you have the Ten of Cups with it, right? Now this came out in the reverse. In the upright, the Ten of Cups is about complete emotional fulfillment. It's about feeling like you are absolutely where you're meant to be. Your cups are full. Everything is as it's meant to be. It's a really, really beautiful, somewhere over the rainbow, fabulous sort of energy. But what's interesting here is that it came up in the reverse with the Knight of Swords, which what I get from this, because I do feel like these two are holding hands, what I get from this, especially with the crocodile energy, is that there are aspects of your experience that I feel like are calling for your attention, that are trying to direct you onwards to a place that you may be a bit surprised that you're being led to or reluctant to follow. Now, this could be because of a fear of change, you know, feeling a bit overwhelmed in some way, shape, or form, or still feeling like you're kind of figuring things out. But there's a dose of truth coming your way that's going to be the direct result of your emotions giving you clues that is going to pave your way forward. And I feel like it's going to involve a bit of a reroute, which is why I feel like it's the happy home and family in reverse. It's leading you there, but it might feel like a bit of a reroute on the road, right? That's the Knight of Swords is a bit blunt. Doesn't exactly like, you know, put any sugar in with the medicine. So I feel like it's a bit of a series of realizations or information or news or messages that come to you that may be a bit difficult to hear or unwelcome at first. But ultimately, it's leading you down a path that, is there a spider on here? I'm so here for it. The Hermit, which is your key as Virgos. You are the Hermit in the Tarot. And then this one is depicted with a spider that looks a lot like the spider that was all up in your reading. What do you have to say to that? Can you you can't buy that synchronicity, people. You can't buy it. You can't buy it. It's too good. So brilliant. The Hermit is very much a spiritual pilgrimage. It's very much about going inside of yourself for answers and clarity. Traditionally in the Rider-Waite Tarot, this is depicted by a hooded elderly man holding a lantern. And in the Hermit's lantern is the star from the Star Key, which is Aquarius energy. And I gotta tell you, in real time, I've always known that Virgos and Aquarians are related and go well together, but I did not until this very moment of me saying that realize, I knew that in that lantern was the star from the Star Key, but I didn't realize that it was right there all along, that of course they go well together. The Aquarians make an appearance in the Hermit Key. Like, there's something about those energies that just are really beautiful together. So anyway, I love it. But it's really about asking the questions, right? The big questions, right? And going within yourself in order to, glean clarity, glean answers, glean insight, glean a way forward. But I have to tell you, sometimes we can assume the hermit position and have a lot of questions and only get more questions, like questions that breed other questions. And that's another aspect of the Hermit Key that is seldomly talked about. Sometimes the point is to ask the right questions and not to have the answers. And I feel like the fact that this is under the full moon here as well, which represents embracing the unknown and going with the natural cycles of things, is a huge part of that, right? This spider here, there's really something about that. I feel like you're in the process of, the web that you are currently in, the reality that you are creating that is going to be around for the long term, the ancestor, you are an ancestor. There's going to be generations that come after you, right? Whether they be, related by 1, 2, 3 degrees, whatever, you are an ancestor. We all have family lines, right? And there's something that's coming forward about this. It's not, you are not just the product of your ancestors. You don't just carry their strength within you, their experiences within you, right? You are an ancestor yourself to a generation that, some of whom aren't even into existence yet. So there's something about that in terms of the cycles and the moon and the spider web, where maybe you can look at your circumstances and go, if I want to leave my part of the world better than how I found it, what might that look like? And how am I doing with that? If I'm going to have generations that are looking back as me, their ancestor, what gifts do I want to leave them in the bloodline? What gifts do I want to impart? What lessons, what journey, what can they look to that's going to inspire them with their own struggles and triumphs? It's the web. We're all connected in that way. It's really beautiful. And the fact that this is you're coming up in your own reading in this way with the spider is just... Timing is an integral part of your circumstances as they are right now. And you're really being asked to consider, how are you leaving your bit of the world better than how you found it? And are you living your life's purpose from a place of integrity and full embodiment, right? Are you fully embodying your experience? Look at the bottom of the deck, Justice. We were talking about this, how the dragon equates to the Justice key in the tarot. Wow, Virgo, something else. Wow. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Okay. So you see the Four of Cups here, right? It's interesting. It's very watery reading, very water and air, but the Four of Cups is about a certain dissatisfaction with the state of things, right? It could be like the sound effect would for Four of Cups would be meh. Like, all right, I see it, but I wish it were this. I wish it were in a different time. I wish it looked a bit different. I wish, right? And there's an aspect to this as well with the Four of Cups where it's interesting because what comes after it is actually it's sitting right here at the bottom of the deck. How funny is that? The Five of Cups. Let's just look at these two together. So the Five of Cups is all about perspective, right? It's about perspective. It's about, am I going to focus on what is working or what is not working? Am I going to focus on what I am capable of manifesting? Right? Am I going to focus on the obstacles that are presenting themselves in this moment, right? It's all about perspective. The Four of Cups is really about allowing yourself to see the gift in every happenstance, see the gift of every opportunity, see the gift of every challenge, see the gift of every delay, see the gift of having more questions than answers, right? It's really how you choose to interact with things and people as they show up for you, and a lot less about them showing up in the timing that you wish they would or appearing how they would. It's not about things being easy or happening in the way that you want them to. It's about you choosing to respond and work with whatever arises and knowing that it's all a part of the web and part of life, right? I can't remember who said this quote, but it's coming to mind. I'm going to butcher it, but something about we are here in the school of life in order to evolve as souls. So if we're here to evolve as souls, then that's going to require a certain level of hardship and lessons and loss and pain and triumph and happiness and love in all of the colors of the 10 of Cups rainbow spectrum emotional experience, right? And I find it very interesting too, I think this is an armadillo, that this armadillo is literally underneath the water here. And we were talking about really mining your emotions, right? But from a cloud with enough objectivity and air energy, right? To see them clearly and take away, insights from doing so, right? It's really interesting, Virgo. It's very, very interesting. It feels like a very, not just like a philosophical energy, but it really feels very in-depth and intricate and like a spider's web. It really, really does. I also want to point something else out because it's coming through. So spiders and moths are natural enemies, right? Spiders eat moths, right? But in this web, if a moth gets caught in a spider's web, it will never be eaten if it just remains still until the spider goes off elsewhere, right? The only way that the spider can be located as to the moth's location is if it moves. It picks up the vibrations of that, right? So what does that mean? The spider is very, very still and the moth must be still in order to not be detected by the spider. Why is that coming in with the crocodile and the lizard knowing when to move and when to be still? Be patient with the timing of your experience right now. Okay, that's the point. Be patient with the timing of the experience right now. Let's go ahead and get some advice for you. Advice for Virgos. Oh, could not be better advice. Temperance, guess what? This is all about patience. Patience and balance. I love that you have the rainbow back for the 10 of Cups mirror effect here. Patience, balance, inner harmony, trusting that everything is as it should be, and that you are able to maintain a state of inner peace regardless of your outer circumstances. Also, a body of water, but standing in the air. Really, really, really beautiful. Temperance, especially flamingo energy, speaks very much about self-care as well. So we talked about the mental health here with the crocodile. I do feel like self-care is also coming to the forefront of this for you. And you are oh, look at all that water coming down for like the luscious, receiving of information for you. I do feel like there's an aspect of that that's coming forward. Really, really seeing to your self-care and your health and wealth and really taking care of yourself during this time, right? It feels really, really important. You're being asked to really do you right now, whatever that means for you, from a place of patience and happiness and harmony. Again, this has nothing to do with your outer experiences. This has to do with you cultivating your inner landscape and knowing that by doing so within divine timing, your outer landscape will be a natural reflection of the garden that you cultivate internally. Okay? It's really beautiful, Virgo. Let's get an oracle. I'm feeling like the earth magic. Oh my Lord, oh my God, look at what's on the bottom. Listen, y'all, you got ocean, ebb and flow. Could we talk any more about the watery ways? Literally talking about this. Ebb and flow, the ocean is a symbol of the unknown. This is really about allowing yourself to really go with the natural cycles of life, patience, and trust that the way of least resistance is allowance. That is ocean, ebb, and flow. Then on the bottom of the deck was the desert vision quest. Did I not see this in your opening meditation with the lizard? And then coming in last here is the water. Allow yourself to be hydrated. Also, think about the difference of this. In the desert, I saw the lizard was very, very still and then jumped forward into motion. And then with the ocean, it's ebb and flow. It's a constant state of movement and flow, but you are not setting the tone and pace and direction. You're allowing yourself to be moved, right? Within divine timing. It's really, 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 really beautiful, Virgo. Hydrate yourself. That's what this feels like to me. Hydrate yourself. And again, please look more into spider energy. Research it. Sit with it. Because that was a really beautiful, very direct message for you. And I'm absolutely here for it. So with that being said, I really hope that this helped and resonates. If so, please do let me know in the comments below. I love reading your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. I would so appreciate that. And with that being said, just thank you. Thank you so, so much for being here. And most of all, and as always, thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.